Hey, good evening, everybody. I was almost going to say good morning, but that would not be quite correct. Right. Anyway, hello. It is a stormy day over here, and I don't think that we're at risk of the power going out, but just in case, if I vanish off of here in a flash, like literally flashes and then I'm gone, you'll know why. But I don't think so. Settled down at the moment. So hopefully we're good to go. I got my hot matcha tea, which has recently become a thing for my evening streams, in my really goofy cat cup. Nope, that's the back of it. Goofy cat cup. For some reason. But why not? And it's very hot. So anyway, I got a bunch of interesting reference photos. If anybody wants to sketch along with me, I'm going to have them up on the screen, kind of flip through and show you what I've got. See if anybody has any preferences or thoughts or anything. But yeah, some new things going on. I got a new mic stand, and I'm actually using it's a stand for the drum kit when you mic the bass drum, and it works perfectly for on the desktop. So that's a really great solution for a desktop mic if anybody has ever struggled with such a thing. And my tea is very hot. Okay, let me start putting some of these images up here. See what we think. Where are we? Where are they? I want to see them. What is going on? Oh, I don't know why. I've been going back and forth with there being some weird... Oh, it's really huge for some reason. Sorry, I will fix this. I was having tons of weird issues, and I'm really glad that I kind of started setting up for the stream really early today, because it's, when I pulled up my broadcasting software, my camera screen was like jammed short, and it took me a really long time to figure out what was going on, and my webcam and my mic, the lights on them were just like flickering and being all weird. And after spending a lot of time screwing around with it, I finally figured out, yeah, look at this clown. Anyway, finally figured out that my USB port expander wasn't quite plugged in right, and so that's what you get for getting something pretty cheap, I guess. So, oh well, it is what it is. It's what I got. Okay, so here's a terrifying clown picture, but there's an even worse one. There's another one. Like I said, these some of the photos I have here are public domain pictures, so a lot of the black and white things that I have. And then I got some from Unsplash. I have a link in the description. It's a great place to try to look for interesting reference photos that you can use. A lot of them, there's a lot of free stuff, and if you really like the photographers, you can find great work on there. So this photo is from Unsplash. I really loved the space of a texture. There's obviously some like post-production processing on it, but I just really like how textural his skin is, and the hair and the expression is really nice. So that's one of the not super old ones. This was another one. I just really love the expression and the shape of her hair, the silhouette. Really nice picture there. A little more of a typical YouTube sketchbook kind of thing you would see, I suppose. Flower. Just because that's not something I usually do. Yeah, I pulled up a couple stillets and a couple of photos of people out of there. Orange or clementine or something, there's one. Mary Beth, hello! How are you tonight? Framing, nice. That's that's a exciting evening. That's something I do not enjoy doing very much, so I hope yours goes very smoothly. So yeah, we got another orange. I got a cup of coffee, and I picked this one because I love my coffee. Secondly, because the texture of all the bubbles on the top, I was thinking could be fun to play with. And then Oh, another good face, good shapes, shadows. I like that one. And then some ridiculous cat pictures that are, I mean, I love this. This is a public domain photo. These are a couple that are quite old and crack me up. Like, dressing up cats for Victorian photography was a thing. It was a thing. And then handsome cat in a hat. Yeah, these are the pictures I have that I pulled out as possible sketchbook projects today. So, how weird do we want to start? You know what? Let's start with, I like this guy. Let's go with this guy. I'll give him a try. I'm gonna, just because my sketchbook is so lopsided right now, where there's just a few pages here and a big thick part there to leave it open and draw, the spine is going to be in the way. So I'm just going to fold it over to work on the back part of the page. That part is from my last sketchbook session. I haven't grabbed this particular book since then, and we'll see how this paper is to work on the back. It seems like it has the same finish. Not certain, but we're going with it. We're going with it. Okay. So let's get this guy on here. Start grabbing some shapes that I recognize. And yeah, I'm drawing really light at the moment, so once it's not showing up that great yet, but I'm just sort of establishing some of the main shapes and lines, and then I will start drawing in darker once this is something to work with. I can say sentences. Isn't this a great picture? I love this photo. Okay, so I think this is an okay place to start with what I have. All right, so now I'll start drawing so you can actually hopefully see what I'm putting down. I got a nice jet black extra smooth pencil, design ebony. It's very soft, very smearable, so kind of nice for doing quick sketches without getting too fussy about intricate details yet. But I should be able to get some nice darks from this guy, from this particular pencil. And this is interesting. He's got such a great character in his face, and it's his like Gandalf beard almost, but he's wearing like an Adidas track jacket or something, which seems so counter to what you see in his character, but it's kind of great. The racing stripes on his shoulders. Love me some racing stripes. And the hair on top of his head, that's how my hair looks most of the time. That's why you usually see me wearing it. Awkward grow up phase, and the hair has a life of its own, and I just don't often have the energy to fight it. So, yeah, once it'll actually stay down without having anti-gravity properties so naturally all the time, then I can actually try to do something with it more frequently, perhaps. I have seen people work with some oil paint in this type of sketchbook, and I'm fascinated by that idea to do so, and also slightly terrified because I am not terribly comfortable with oil paints. I really have enjoyed playing around with them, but I have a lot to learn, and I really need to be, therefore, playing with it much more often than I have been. But a sketchbook would probably not be the worst idea to get some things going and not be precious about it. I discovered I guess there's probably a few of these. You know how there's subscription boxes for everything anymore? But there's a subscription art supplies. Apparently a couple companies do this, but that, and I know I talked on my last couple streams about how I need to stop purchasing art supplies, but man, terribly exciting thought to just like, you know, have people send you fun stuff to try where you don't even have to leave the house to go look for it. Very tempting. But yeah, I have so many things, like I said, I need to get around to spending more time with oil paints, and I need to be playing around more with gouache paints that I have, that I've just done some little messing around with. So it's not like I don't have plenty of things, but temptation. It's not purses, not shoes, not clothes. Nah, it's all the art supplies. That's where all my money goes. And I've heard people talk about, and this is an old thing, but Whole Foods, which I guess is still around. I've been there many years. Where people have referred to it as whole paycheck. That's Blick for me. The Blick store that's like, I don't know, 5-6 miles away from me. They get my paycheck most of the time. Between them and what are my biggest expenses for my art stuff is subscriptions for like the Adobe suite that you gotta have for certain things, or at least for what I do, because I do a semi-decent amount of design work still, like freelance type things. So those are kind of a necessity. Have that, web hosting. Oh, all of those things. Shall I zoom in a little bit on this guy? Why not? There we go. So yeah, I thought it'd be fun to actually put the drawings up on screen, and then if anyone wants to draw along, they can. I know it's not huge, but I'm watching the stream also on my iPad, and that's where I'm drawing it, so my little image is like that big for this picture as well, because it did not occur to me that maybe like print them out or something. Arsa, good morning to you. Doing some sketching, and like I still don't feel like I'm awake today, but it's 7:13 p.m. over here. But yeah, it's been a good day. Mostly storming and raining, which is great as long as I don't have to leave the house. Big fan of storms, but I don't like to be out in them. Very nice day. I didn't have to leave the house at all. But I actually purposefully left the house yesterday on purpose and went with some friends kayaking for the first time, and oh my god, I loved it. I loved it so much. I want to do it all the time. So there's a good argument right there to be made for getting out of your comfort zone once in a while and trying something new. I did not drown. I did not capsize. They give us life jackets. It's a little me that doesn't swim really well. I felt pretty confident about even having that. It was awesome. Yes, stormy and rainy. I love that. As long as I don't have to go and be anywhere. But yeah, excellent time. I definitely want to go and do more kayaking, because it's like, what a great way to be physically active, and it's so soothing. So calming. Yeah, in the solitude. It was that, like, even though I went with people, like, it doesn't really work to get super close to anybody while you're out there, and we have a really pretty park. It's a forest preserve fairly close to me that has like really nice little kind of chain of small lakes to go around, and it's just, it was just the best. Like, hopefully there will be some really good days for weather, and I can just maybe go, I would just go and do it myself for sure, and like maybe take a sketchbook and some paint and hang out at the park and then do some kayaking, and that would just be like the best day for me. I would be so happy just to do that. Ooh, went out shopping. Yes, yesterday. What was your big outing for the week? Did you get anything fun? I was just talking about how like I'm been tempted to buy more art supplies through subscription boxes where they just send you stuff to try. I need to not, but oh, it's tempting. So I'm vicariously excited for you to have gone shopping for art supplies. It is the best. It's like Christmas when you come home and open things and then try them. Those sketches coming along okay so far. Ooh, toned paper. Pastel pencils for value sketches, nice. It's oh, yeah. And I'm trying to, yeah, doing anything monochromatic for sure. It's great time to pay attention to that. And I was actually just thinking about, like, I need to really be watching where my lights and darks are, because first you kind of just get things in place, and then you can start to build. And this is sort of like working with watercolors, and that, you know, your light is the paper, but if you're working on toned paper, then you're putting in, you can put those things in, and you have more control, which is kind of a cool thing about it. Acrylic paint canvases, easel, yes, new brushes. Ohuhu alcohol markers, if I'm saying that correctly, coming in batches this week. Cannot wait. Yes. Well, thanks. I thought it would be fun to just, like, you know, open it up. Whoever wants to participate can. Just have some fun with it. Last time when I did this once before with a sketchbook, and not just recently, I think last week on Monday as well, but I didn't have them up on the screen when I was sketching, so that kind of, like, I could do that. That would be much more fun. I was watching another artist's videos just yesterday. I was kind of just flipping around, seeing what was interesting in the world on YouTube. And it was somebody who had done live streams, I think on Twitch, and then just uploaded those streams onto YouTube. But he had, like, his were long. Some of them were like 5-hour streams. I don't think anybody would want to be around for that long for anything I'm doing. I don't think I could be around for that long for doing one thing. But yeah, he would put his subject up there, and that was really neat. Then you could see what he's looking at, what he's thinking. So I really liked that. It seemed like a really great way to do things. Drawing, like, this paper, this is kind of a vellum paper. It's a mixed media sketchbook, and its line work goes down, like, pencils just feel so nice on it. It's so smooth. I'd be very surprised that you follow a dude who does 12-hour studies every day. Oh my god, that's like Oh yeah, if he's monetized doing it, I was going to say a living. The amount of people who turn up and enjoy them is awesome. That's super cool. I love longer streams as a homebody. It allows me to feel like I'm hanging out with friends. Yeah, I get that. When I first started doing this, I wasn't really sure how long they should be, and they just sort of became what they were. Like, how long does it take me to do anything of any note before I'm kind of like maybe reaching a point where I've done it, I guess, whatever that means. I don't know words. Yeah, just sort of whatever seems to come together and work, and then however it works out for him. Jim, hello. Waiting for the rain to stop to go on a bike ride. Oh my, I know it's been on and off all day. And here it's not raining at the moment, so depending on which way this weather's going, hopefully we'll get a little break, but all day it's been storming. Like, it's just rain and soft thunder, which has been really nice. Makes me sleepy. That's the only downside about it. Makes me very sleepy. We did a paint event this weekend in Indiana that was fashioned like Portrait Artist of the Year. Oh, we painted local radio celebrities. That's cool. It was so much fun. Laying low today, cleaning the studio. That does sound amazing. That sounds like it would be a lot of fun. I'm framing for a show at the Palette. Oh, nice. Crazy rain in Harvard. We need it. Yeah, it's constantly one extreme to another, it feels like. Like today we were in flood warning, actually, flash flood warnings, but the Des Plaines River is not that far from me, and that is always flooding. Did a lot of yard work. Nice. It has been very humid. I agree with that. That often makes me not want to do much of anything. I need to try to come up with somebody to paint, like a portrait to do as a live in-person painting during a art fair. And I have been going back and forth on what might work for that, and really not coming up with something that I'm excited about. So I'd like it to be somebody kind of recognizable, maybe even pop culture-y, I guess. Des Plaines, yeah, it's always flooding up that river. I lived in Elk Grove Village for a while, that's actually the town where the lakes were that I was kayaking at this weekend. One of the first years I was out there, it rained so bad that a whole part of the town, the water would go up to your waist on the roadways and such. It was crazy. I only saw that happen the one year, and that must have been, I don't know, was that 2008, 9, 10, somewhere in there? It was nuts. Palette and Chisel, Chicago. Academy Club. Nice. I I think it's really cool to have people and a place to go and kind of work creatively in a group setting. Thus far, working like this on YouTube has kind of been that for me. Although I'd like to get back to doing some live figure drawing. I feel like that's something that I would like to revisit. There was I think it was last summer, I'm like, I'm gonna go to this, I found a meetup that was doing live figure drawings, and then, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I responded that I was gonna show up, like most of them are like, bring $20 or something to help pay for the model. Got some cash, drove out there, and when I arrived at the place, it was this like unmarked residential house in the countryside, and is this right? Because that's a no for me. And there was a gate too, like the gate was even closed. It was just very odd. And yeah. I did not do that. So I'll have to try again at some point, probably with something more reputable, shall we say. Right. Weather app showed 112 degrees. The forecast on August 23rd. What? Oh, I did see 90s for next week, like low 90s at least. But oh man, if it was 112, I'd move to Antarctica before then. I got 2 weeks. Let's go. We'll get there. Oh Lord, can't deal with that. All right, I think. Yeah, you know, it's not perfect, but I like the sketch. I like this guy. We're just doing a quick little capture study. What I really noticed during the last stream when I did this is how different it looks when I'm doing it sitting at this angle to my sketch pad versus the camera going straight down. The girl that I was drawing last time was looking very much like a alien for a lot of the stream, and I didn't even kind of notice it right away. So I'm trying to remember to keep checking, like actually looking at what the camera's capturing to see like how off I I don't think it looks like I've made him a little too wide, not long enough. And that's what I see right now. So not perfect. I'm pretty happy with him though. Maybe we'll move on to another weird sketch. This was not one of my weird ones. References. I just really liked this guy. Yeah, look how nicely this blends out. That's so satisfying to do that on here. Framing drawings with glass. We wax them to seal them. Has to be a better way. Oh. Yeah, drawings. How, set are they? Like, would applying wax move the graphite around? If it's pencil drawings? I would do some testing maybe. And I mean, there's spray fixative that you could potentially use before waxing it. And I still think that that would be something you probably would want to test before you actually did it with a scrap of drawing material or drawing paper, just to see that it doesn't change the quality of the piece more than you would want it to. Yeah, that's always a tricky thing, because I know that dealing with watercolor paintings, like, it's really hard to, you kind of just assume that it's got to be framed behind glass to protect it, because it doesn't really work well to varnish. So that is a trickier thing. I would definitely experiment with it. The graph for that day had to go from 90 degrees up to 112 in 1 hour. What? That's apocalyptic. No, thank you. I really like these erasers for being able to control a little bit what you're doing, but I had one of these, or a couple of these, that were the same kind of thing, where you can just push it, click it out so it goes longer as you use it. I had one that was like about a quarter of the width of this, so it was really nice for making little detailed erasing marks where I wanted to, but I think I can figure out what I did with that thing. Kind of not for the life of me. So that is something that I will probably want to replace at some point in terms of spending money on art supplies. That art eraser, I really love that. It's so useful, but yeah, figuring out where exactly the ones that I actually already owned went. It won't turn up until I buy a new one. You know how that goes. All right. I'm thinking it would move it. I will experiment. Yeah, try some spray fixative before you wax it on one, not on one that you're framing right now, but on something that you wouldn't care to screw around with, just a scrap, and see if what that does. Because the fixative could change, a spray fixative could change how glossy or how color pulls. I don't know. I've used spray fixative on graphite drawings and been okay with it. I've not found that it changed it a good deal. But yeah, try that and see if you did that. And even if it did change it a little bit, you could still see then when you put the wax over that what the change in that would be. Because the wax, if you have a matte wax, would give it an additional level of something. But yeah, it's a tricky one. Love how you shaded the forehead on the left side into the darkness. Yeah, that's kind of how the picture, that's how I'm seeing the picture, how it's reading, and that's sort of a drawing what you see rather than what you know kind of a moment. Or logically, there's an ear back there. I know this to be true. But there's also, like, the camera isn't really picking that up. And all those shades of shadows are kind of becoming one shape almost, outside of a few different bits of stuff. Just a couple more little darker lines where such strong shadow shapes and highlight shapes. And yeah, this pencil does a pretty good job of getting me to some of these really dark darks. I think maybe, all right, yes, I'm good with that. I basically got him. Captured his thing, his style. He's one of these guys that was in the running for most interesting man in the world for the Dos Equis commercials. Kind of looks like that. He's seen things. Notice how every time I'm working on anything, I'm like, okay, I'm happy with that, and then I continue to work on it. This is a character trait. All right, for real now. Also, since I'm looking at the picture, my reference is kind of small to me, so I'm not gonna like get all of the super detailed exactly where the wrinkles are and such, which can be a lot of fun to do that. Like, faces with this much character are a lot of fun to do. All right, let's do something else. Maybe we'll switch up my medium. Move on to other side. What else we got? What else we got? All right, you guys got to tell me what's good. Yeah, depending on the fixative for sure. It's been a long time since I bought it, but I've had quite a few cans of it, and yeah, it is. I really just think experiment and see what works for you. All right, here we go. Here we go. We got another lovely young lady here we could do. It's got some nice color, nice shape. Yeah, I can do fine liner. I got some fine liners over here. I got a flower, a couple still life bits, the flower, the orange, or clementine, or whatever that might be. Coffee cup. I actually have out some ink that I thought about possibly for that one. There's another young lady with some nice shapes happening with the framing and the light and the dark. That's why I grabbed that one. And then some of my public domain weirdo pictures. Thor cat or Brunhilde. Terrified cat dressed up as a child from the Victorian era. Cat with a hat. because, you know, I just stumbled upon these like ridiculous pictures and I had to grab them. And then a couple clown pictures. That one's, this one is delightfully bizarre and kind of frightening, and I kind of love it. So what do you think? Any votes? Worst, best? Definitely, definitely not. I'll have a sip of my matcha tea. I think I'm getting better at brewing it. I actually have used a little, what do you call it? The thing with the wires. There goes my mind. Can't think about too many things at one time, clearly. Whisk. There it is. I used a whisk on it with it. So that made it nice and smooth, I think, till I get to the bottom. Then I'll tell you. Then we'll find out for sure. All right. So, creepy clown, yes, no? I'm kind of leaning towards it. I'll be honest. All right. Okay, let's see what we got. I'm gonna do a light sketch of some sort on here. Yes, mime or something. This outfit, I mean, heck yeah. And there's a weird effect happening with the arm that's kind of behind his back. Looks like his arm becomes 3 tendrils. Anyway, I watched this movie this last weekend called Dagon. Midnight horror, yeah. It's a little bit that too. I love it. But yeah, where I was just going with my crazy thought process there. Yeah, the movie Dagon. It's like 1980. Maybe not. It is super weird, and I would definitely recommend it. Like just the description of it alone, when you read the synopsis, like a couple gets shipwrecked off the coast of this town outside of Spain, and there is, what is it? Flesh-eating cannibal mermaids is one of the descriptors. A forced cult marriage, and evil ocean god, and people transforming, and man, there's so much happening in this movie, and the look of the effects is really great for, I think, the time, and it holds up well in that sense. And there's just this sense of discovery. A person could find it slow moving, but I enjoyed the slow discovery of what is happening in this place, what exactly is going on, and it does not disappoint with the weirdness. And it's kind of hard. It's a little hard to see exactly what's happening in that photo. It's so weird. Oh. Anyway, yeah, if you have a chance, I think it's on, well, I watched it on Shudder, so it would probably be on AMC. It probably is on Amazon. I don't know. But good stuff. Just weird. Weird, like, what is going on? And it doesn't disappoint. Like, it's not one of those leaves it wide open without any answers. It answers your questions. For sure. It is just crazy. I think my sketch so far is more frightening than the drawing. Or than the photo. It looks like. Which definitely isn't helping that it's really, really tiny on my screen. Oh my God. Okay. What am I getting myself into? Why did I think this was a good idea? Whatever, we're going with it. His hand is like in motion, kind of. One, hello, hello. Welcome to my, what was I thinking, stream of why am I sketching a creepy clown? Because I have to. This is so wonderfully bizarre. Oh, my last stream inspired you to draw again. I love that. Yes, it is a terrifying Victorian clown from a public domain image. Or mime, I'm not sure which thing. The inner weirdness. You gotta embrace the weirdness. Yeah. And that's the thing, like I've never been somebody who drew flowers because they just don't interest me. So it's like, it feels like it's a challenging thing if I do. So that's the only reason that I every now and again will like pull something up like that. Like I just don't ever draw this because it just hasn't been interesting. Oh, and then there was a new, what's the Great Art Explained YouTube channel? Just released one on an episode about, who's the one I just painted? Klimt, Gustav Klimt. It was really interesting. I don't know if anybody's watched that. If you haven't, I recommend it. Go watch it. It's good. It just came out. Anyway. If you went walking in the woods at night and started being chased down by the dogman, and then you both bumped into that weird clown right there, dogman would be booking it the other direction. Yeah, he would. And yes, that is the correct episode where they're tying him in historically with how the Nazis portrayed his work and tried to tie it into like what was, yeah, it's nuts. Like, and it's kind of crazy because it makes you think about how your work, when you put it out into the world, you kind of don't have control over what happens to it then. How anybody else might use it, especially once you're gone. It's just crazy to think about that. Like, and it was just so nuts. And we so often don't think about when we just are looking at these awesome pictures, thinking about the historical context in which they were made, and then after they were made, how they were received. You know, it's just so much craziness. And can I have his feet? I do have his feet. I think I'm going to end up cutting off his feet here. But it's not sketchbook. I don't care. It's fine. Be like a little Matisse-like here and just be like, nope, not doing the feet. We're just going to pretend they don't exist and chop them right off. Yeah, it's the lines right here that are happening on that little picture that look like, I know that they're the striped part of his outfit, but the white stripes, the dark looks like the background, and then it's like, what is going on with this arm? It looks like they're becoming like tendrils, and that's what made me think of the movie, Dagon. If you want to watch something weird, highly recommend that one. From art history to weirdo horror movies from the 80s. I got something for everybody here. Yeah, the Art Cities thing, that was the like in Deadpool when they made fun of the comic artist that couldn't draw feet. Yeah, there's been who is that weird comic artist? I don't remember names well, but would create all the extra muscles and things, and just his anatomy was so bizarre, and he still got a lot of work forever. Trying to imagine what color those stripes were in real life. Red and green? Yeah? I mean, they'd have to be, they were probably probably a cooler color, something that was dark enough to show up to read as being nearly black in the photo. I'm not sure. It's victim's blood. Thus far, I am only just starting to get into actually laying in some of those stripes. They don't bother me too much. I remember doing these projects in my high school art class, where it was drawing a figure or anything, and you had to create the whole thing using contour lines, just back and forth, like drawing in the curves of the shape, and that's how you had to draw them. And drawing stripes reminds me of that. It's an interesting way, and it can be almost like a cheap way to add volume to something, to really show what the volume on something you mean it to be. That's not really cheap, but it's an interesting tool to use to do that. This is just so wonderfully weird. They do some, isn't there someone or somebody that does recoloration, or maybe there's it's probably like some kind of AI thing online where you can have old photos colorized with some, like, they're able to make some assumptions based on certain types of information in the photos. Yeah, we could have to dig that out and see what they come up with for this dude. Buttons. The stripes match up pretty well. I'm not going to get too worried about all the details on it. If there were black and white with black and white face paint, that would be too weird. Imagine dozens of children fleeing over. And if that were the case, he might be more of like a mime style of clown, maybe. I don't know. When did they start doing the black and white stripes for the mimes? These are historical things that I have not looked into that much, but I kind of want to know. And it looks like the stripes on his pants, like there's some dimension to them, like the white part almost seems as if there's a fringe or something to it. Maybe? Am I crazy? I could be wrong. It's hard to decipher because it's not a very high resolution photo at all. It's just something that was on the internet. And none of my family's historical photos are this insane. So, at least none that I've seen. And his socks are striped. Alright, we got enough of the idea there. Let's get some stuff out here. Would be probably creepier. And I wonder when the clowns being scary kind of became, like, have they always been to people? Hobby Lobby is liquidating the arts section. Wow. That's good information to have out there. I can see all the matcha at the bottom of my cup, and I don't have a spoon to stir it, so oh well. Who to my matcha making skills? Okay, anyway. What do we got? It's not going on. There's my trusty, my Derwent 0.05 black permanent liner. So let's do some stripes and things. It'd be kind of fun. Let's try this. Don't stir it. Read your matcha tea. I don't know how. What does the tea say for our future? Probably nothing good. Clowns are going to haunt you in your sleep. Oh, man. I guess that's how my day is going to end. Let's just do... They always read, drink more matcha. Buy my brand again. Okay, we're going to do this. I'm just going to kind of draw in the darks. Maybe. This is my idea. Kind of like my high school art project that I was talking about. Maybe it will become like a terrifying clown skeleton of sorts. Doodle in your, yeah, heck yeah. Let's draw, everybody. Get your sketchbooks out. Draw my clown with me. Kind of going off just off my drawing at this point, instead of looking at the reference as much. Oh yeah, heck yeah, anything black and white stripes. Gotta love, and Beetlejuice did, oh, has anybody heard that apparently they are working on the remake? I mean, I think we've heard this a million times before, but supposedly actually perhaps in production at this point. And I believe that, what's his name, is going to be reprising his role. Why am I trying to remember names? This never goes well for me. You guys know what I mean. The guy that played Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton, right? And, oh man. Nobody listened to the crazy lady with a pen. Can't they stop? Just stop with the prequels, sequels, and remakes. Right? It doesn't stop. It's safe. Brand recognition will make them money. I see so few movies. I'm halfway curious to watch the new Insidious movie, because I actually enjoyed the first two mostly, and I didn't really like any of the ones that came after that. But the fact that they're going back to that original family, and I do really like Patrick Wilson. Ooh, look at me, he was actually a very wonderful singer. In the movie that they did of Phantom of the Opera some years ago, he was Raoul. So he was singing his heart out. And now he's known for some terrible horror movies, but I actually really like the Insidious. I've liked the Insidious movies. The first couple, so maybe I'll watch them. We'll see. That one, I don't know. I'll probably be disappointed. Can't have too high of expectations when it comes to these things. We're binging Insidious right now. Nice. Catch up on the latest release. Conjuring series, Annabelle series. Just give it all to me. I started out really liking them. I enjoy the musical stings is one of the things in the Insidious movies that I enjoy, like where it's the strings. That's so creepy, and then their use of the first one or the second one, Tiny Tim, the Tiptoe Through the Daisies song, that just like, yeah, it's creepy. Oh, and Poltergeist. What I always think when I think about Poltergeist, and is this movie? I start to blend them all in my head a little bit. The one where there's a scene, it doesn't hold up that well, but back at the time, probably better. There's a scene where there's a reporter or somebody looking at their reflection in the mirror, and then their face starts to melt, and then it's all just like a visual thing. It's not really happening, but that scene, I remember many years ago, being in an Applebee's with my parents for lunchtime. We were out and about doing something. We stopped for lunch, and they have all the TVs in there, and on the TVs was Poltergeist, and that scene started playing in the restaurant, in this family-friendly, cutesy restaurant, and I just remember seeing people moving incredibly fast to change all of the channels as that scene started to play. And there's all these families eating their lunches in there. Oh, I'll never forget that. That was awesome. It was just like this really quick little moment. I remember watching, I'm like, I wonder if they realized. They finally did. The first one has Tiny. Okay, that's right. It worked so well. The Investigators, that's right. Man, it's hard to remember. There's so many of these movies and such. And then the story with that one, how they used actual skeletons in the pool because it was cheaper, and I think they didn't tell the actress that was in there with them. Crazy stories. I don't think I looked up in time to see that scene, but I just happened to look up because we weren't even at the bar sitting or anything, but just all of a sudden oh, there's I wonder if they realize what they've got on the TVs. It was a fun moment. Just a weird little. And after it happened, I think that I even was saying something. Oh, this just happened to my parents, and they're not people who watch. They were not people who watch horror movies, so did not get the reference of how crazy that was that just happened. So I just had to enjoy that moment all by myself. And my sense of humor. I help staff. The steak is exploding. Should we do something? Oh, now I kind of want pancakes. I have a mix even for pancakes. I should make some. Now you've done the face. Yeah. Probably somebody had to say something to the staff because they're probably not paying any attention. So by the time somebody gets someone's attention and they finally start moving to change it, those were great. Those effects at that time were just something. And as long as we're going down talking horror movies, there's one more that I saw this weekend that was a very interesting experience for me. Not that it was a particularly good movie. It was, while you're binging the Insidious movies, we have over some time been watching all of the Hellraiser movies. And there were a couple two had missed us, and we watched one of them this weekend. And it was one from 2018 called Hellraiser Judgment. The very beginning of it almost seemed familiar, so I may have seen a part of it at some point, but I don't know. You'd think if it was that recent, I'd remember something about it. But It was not a great movie. It was okay. They got not the original guy, Doug Bradley, playing Pinhead, and he really just made that role. He made those movies. But there was a scene in there that actually, for me, being somebody who has watched well over 500 horror movies, according to my log of trying to keep track of things that I've actually seen, it actually made me gag. Just the right visuals, and it's a viscosity thing. And when I see things, can't deal with it, I actually had to look away because I was going to have a problem. That is the first time that has ever happened to me watching a movie, one of these movies. So I give it props for having that effect on me. We did the whole Halloween series last year, nice, over a weekend, and seeing the movies age is bizarre. A lot of those are not good. Is one part of it. Stuff does sort of get better, but there's something that can't be replaced from the older movies. That's true. And, John Carpenter with the first Halloween movie, he's great. He really, he created in that movie the entire genre. Mouth of Madness is probably might be my favorite John Carpenter movie. Yeah, I think over the last couple of years we kind of got through all of the Friday the 13th movies, I think. I think we've now seen all of the Friday the 13th movies, finally. Yes, I did see Jason Goes to Manhattan. And Jason X, there's that brief period in time where everybody had to go to space. There was Leprechaun in space, there was Hellraiser in space, there's Jason in space. That was a sad time for horror movies, but it sure was some weird entertainment. And good for bad movie nights. That's one thing about them. It's about the best thing that they have to offer. Yeah, Cenobites in space. I don't know. I guess they're interdimensional beings that can go anywhere, but Kevin Bacon getting his neck blasted through as a teenager. I think that is in Friday the 13th. Yes, that is the first Friday the 13th movie. No, yes, Kevin Bacon is Friday the 13th, and then Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one, is a very young Johnny Depp. Also wearing a crop top. Very stylish. It's great when you see these big actors doing these random roles. You're like, wait a minute, I know that person. I recognize them. They probably wish that nobody knew they were in that movie. There was some silly horror movie that I saw sometime this spring or summer that was a very young George Clooney. And he's in it for just a very brief period of time. But it's wow, I bet he wishes nobody knew he was in that one. I would really have to dig in and try to figure out which movie that was. I don't remember the name of it. I recognize it in that guy. Such is the slasher. It's kind of fun. Yeah, you get your start where you can. Okay. Some shading with my tiny little... I know. I really loved these pens, especially back in high school. I got the ones that were the mechanical pens that you could refill. I think I still have my old original one. I don't. Damn, it's here. The repeatograph. I loved this thing. I carried it everywhere, and I'm sure that, yeah, that ink cartridge is dried out and empty for a long time. I probably really have to get in there to clean this guy up. It was a 003. Very, very tiny. I would do these ridiculous, detailed, weirdo drawings in my black sketchbook. I think I probably still have refill cartridges for that guy too. Just now that you can get these guys, it's just so simple. Although not as environmentally friendly, so I probably should just do that. Should fill that guy up and see if I can get the ink flowing in him again. Okay. So why don't we do something with this? What have I got? What have I got? What have I not used recently? Got some chalk pastels. All right, I'm into it. Let's do something very messy. What do we got? This will probably diminish the effect of it being like weird and creepy. Perhaps. Or not. Oh no, I don't want it to look like Jigsaw or something. I really hate those Saw movies. Oh, question. I'm on it. I saw acrylic inks yesterday. Have you used them? I don't understand what it was different to it and how to use it. I could use it like an actual ink. Yes, you can use it like an actual ink. Absolutely. It's got a different bit of viscosity to it. Hold on. There's something really goofy going on my screen here. You guys still got the stream okay? Are you seeing it all right? It says I have a good connection, but I'm getting something really weird on my... I don't know, I probably hit a button. I have no idea what's going on. I hope you all can see me. You're good? Okay, excellent. Yeah, it's really bizarre what's happening on my screen on here. There's like a half moon shape covering half of my screen thing, and it's got seconds counting up. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening. Okay, glad you guys can see me. Anyway, yes, alcohol inks. Not alcohol inks, acrylic inks. How many here still? I think I just have a black one. I think I took some to, when I was teaching, I took my other colors. I had a couple other colors over to the class. I think I just left them there. All right, so I just have a black one. It's a different base is basically what it comes down to. Did I install a bomb? I don't know, it's counting up. This is like, here, I can, like, if you want a just a weird little moment here, I'm gonna take my camera so you can see on my screen. You see that white half moon? And it's really hard to see, but there's a timer going, and I don't know. I'm gonna break everything. Okay. Let's see, okay. I don't know why it's doing that. What happened? Whatever. I'll let it go. All right, so some bases for ink can be alcohol. It can be like a watercolor basis, and then alcohol, and then an acrylic base. It's sort of like when you're using the gouaches, and there's the different materials for gouache. That's what I got. Just a little nib pen here. It's going to have a thicker quality to it. You cannot reactivate it. So it still works the same. You just draw your little lines with your little pen. And once it's dry, it will be very permanent. I'm not neat about anything, so it gets everywhere. So yeah, it's it flows quite nicely, as you can see. I'm still that's my first dip I'm still drawing from. And it comes in a lot of different colors. I think you see a lot more colors available to you in this, and you can draw on this kind of paper and it works great. And then alcohol inks have a different kind of quality to them too, where they'll interact with different things. My nib a little bit here. Right, they do not reactivate. It's like acrylic paint. Once it's down and dry, it's done. Like that's it, and that's how it's going to be. You're not going to be able to like get it wet and it won't move, which can often be a desirable quality, depending on what you're trying to do. Okay, yeah, after I break everything and come back on here. All right, so yeah, that's basically how that works. And then I have, this one is pigmented drawing proof. This one is still, it's fade proof, and I don't know if it's entirely waterproof though. There's some other ink all over everything there. Everything I'm touching is like got this sticky, oily residue on it, which is fantastic. Yeah, so I was thinking about here. Let's change up the picture for a second that I have here. And there was the coffee cup there. Ugh, stuff. Sticky. Anyway. Okay, here we go. Let me find something round. I'm gonna just make this super quick and simple. Cheat a little bit. So I was thinking about playing around with getting this really wet, and then dropping some of the ink onto it, and see how the different inks react to the water, like whether they're going to, depending on the base that it is, if it'll dissolve in there or if it'll just like bubble up. And I think the acrylic is more likely to kind of like oil and water maybe. I don't know exactly. Oh, I mean, acrylic is water soluble, but if I just drop it in, I just want to see. Just want to mess around to see. Maybe that can be, this is the non-acrylic one. And that definitely moves in the water. It dries really fast too. Okay, which was nice because it's also like a sepia tone, so it has that brown color coffee. Then I'm just gonna grab my, this one's black, but whatever. Quill guy here. What do if I drop this one into water? I'm not as excited about that. Maybe I don't have enough. Maybe it's not wet enough anymore. Yeah. Maybe I'll go back to the other one. Just do this thing. I have been much better about using washable rags on things anymore. Trying not to use paper towels on my art as much. It's just so wasteful. It feels very wasteful. Yes, my shirt is red and my my hair is, yes, that is accurate. And you can use water with them, of course, to create different effects like this. The paper I'm using is like perfectly acclimated to using in this way because it is a mixed media paper. It's basically like a vellum. Here, this is a little nicer. It's a vellum paper, or a paper with a vellum-like coating on it anyway. So it's literally just I can show you the cover in a second. I'm kind of very intent on making this a mess for a second here. It's fun to. Yeah, this ink moves much more interestingly in the water than the acrylic one does, because it might be alcohol based. It probably is. It gives an interesting effect for a coffee cup. I mean, it's not like exact or anything, but it is interesting. Oh, look, I'm doing this where you can't see it. Yay. Sorry. Jeez Louise. Tell you what, guys. Yeah, I've just been dropping the ink in. Like, I get to get tiny drops, and then dropper gave me big shapes like that. Nobody should let me out of the house. Yes, so that's the paper I got. Sorry, guys. Getting a little loopy over here. All right, so I need to really organize that paper that I am using. Okay, well I can't. Yes, I can do this. I can use my brain. Using my brain. There it is. Strathmore Mixed Media Pad. And that's just vellum surface. Doesn't really tell me much more than that. Acid free. And good for wet and dry media. To an extent. It does still buckle, but it does dry flatter once it's dry. It does pretty well with that. So this circle I just did is pretty buckled at the moment. Of how that turned out with it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Like, the color isn't right on, but it's the only color that I had. It's just the sepia tone one. Oh no, this one was brown. I do have a sepia tone. That might have been even better. No, russet. What's the difference? I don't know. One is a russet and one is brown. The russet was a little warmer. That might have been. I didn't realize. I didn't think they were different. It's been a long time since I've used them. Anyway, all right, Lynell, let's focus on doing something and try to hold it together for a few more minutes, huh? Okay, we could draw a mug on here. I think that I would just mark out, I gotta be a little careful because I can break my circle with the water that's on there and it'll want to flow away. Just gonna draw in where cup. I do a cup going around, and I'll just sort of paint in the table. Leave the white part white. It almost looks more appetizing than my matcha tea. Which I added a little bit of milk into it. And like I said, a lot of it settled to the bottom. I need to keep the whisk in there. We're just gonna give it a little shake around and spill it over everything every time I want to take a sip. I mentioned that nobody should let me out of the house, right? Okay. So yeah. Stop screwing around, Lynell. Pay attention to what you're doing. We could go in here with a light wash of watercolor to create the tabletop. And even though in the picture it's a nice warm color that kind of complements the warmth of the coffee, I'll probably get it to be a little bit of a redder, cooler brown to complement the color of my coffee ink. So let's see. Oh, my paint water is a little inky right now, but I'll do. Move things over here. Zoom out so you guys can see my work surface a little bit better. That might help. Okay. So a little brown paint. Plenty of water, even though my water has like a splash of ink in it. I'm just gonna, and this is kind of tough with this paper. What it's not good for is getting a nice solid wash that's even. Doesn't really let me do that very well. Not as nicely as you can with some practice on watercolor paper. The edges dry really fast, and then you just have an edge, like right there. They can work out a little bit, but it's a weird thing to work with watercolor on, that's for sure. But yeah, I work a little fast, try to keep your edges wet. I'm trying to do something like this. Big areas that you fill in. It's a tricky thing with watercolor. One of the tricky things. Chase your edges around the page. I'm just looking to see if the cup casts any shadow, and it does not really appear so. It's a little darker on this side maybe, but I think that's just the tone of the wood on that table. And we can add a little extra bit of paint in there. Remarkably managed to match that color pretty easily, pretty quickly by just adding some of my, what's this red color? I think it's like English red or something, to a tray that had some dried up blue shade on it, like a Payne's grayish kind of dark blue. Yeah, there we go, cup. Cup of coffee. Maybe somebody put a shot of raspberry flavoring in it, and that's why it looks that way. We'll go with that. Not that I used a wrong color. There's no wrong. Well, that was about as simple as it gets. It's still very wet. Page is very wobbly. It's like doing the wave. Okay, so should we crack out another one? The clown one is kind of ridiculous. That's something on the paper. That's okay. We can work around that. What do we got? What do we got? Could do the lady. Maybe paint her actually. Oops. What the heck? What do you think? Any thoughts? Too ambitious for this late in the stream? I don't know. Let's give it a try. Trying to keep in mind the portions that I'm kind of watching this from an angle instead of directly above. The back of my head is kind of a pretty color right now, but I don't think you actually just want to see that when I'm doing this stuff. You're not here to look at the back of my head. And if you are, we probably need to have a conversation. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff I got on my page. Fine. It's fine. I'll get around it. This is how it goes in the studio when I have 4,000 materials out around me. Everything gets everywhere. And it's just me too. I'm a little bit of a walking disaster a lot of the time. Very often. I didn't spill or drop something in an entire stream. Weird. That's on your Only Heads account, right? It's something for everybody. I guess. Anyway, okay, so I'm kind of like, yeah, that's really light. I'm gonna darken my line here a little bit so you can kind of see. I'm sort of starting with, I got a little bit of a shape of an outer part of the face started, and then I'm drawing in the nose. I kind of like to start with a nose, really. Just sort of becomes a structure that I measure and build against for the face. So trying to get that position and shape right here. Some highlight going down the center, shadow on the side. I like the shadows on this piece. The lighting is very dramatic. And I'm certainly doing myself a disservice by looking at my image so small, but it's fine. We're sketching in the sketchbook and just using it as an exploratory space. Start. Things in a little bit more broadly. It's a lot of looking at where things align to each other. You can do a lot of measuring off of the features and how they relate to each other. This image is definitely more your kind of image that you've been sketching, moody. Yeah, I definitely normally have an affinity towards things that are moody, darker, certainly weird. But also there's a flip side of me that also really enjoys very silly things. And occasionally some kind of cutesy things, to be honest. Like the ridiculous cat photos that I also had found here, or possibilities. So it's very mood dependent, I think, for me, but Yeah, I would definitely have, I mean, just based on our conversations about constantly talking about horror movies and things, yeah, a little darker side, so to speak. Things that I enjoy, and I also like to laugh at bad horror movies, and I love cats and coffee and music and whatever. You know, it's we're also multifaceted beings as we are. Keeps things interesting. There's just that, you know, I was kind of like a 90s punk goth kid that really liked industrial music and goth music and punk music and all of those things at the time. I still do, honestly, but there's a lot more different things I like now too. But I definitely have my, you know, noise playlists that I just find soothing sometimes. I gotta kind of get myself up over it once in a while because I know I'm looking at it at a weird angle. So what looks like if I'm doing something right, when I get up over it or look at it through what the camera's seeing, will often be, oh, definitely not right. At some point, I'm going to drive my hand through this wet ink. It's almost guaranteed to happen. I just hope it dries back quickly. That is our only hope. A little closer look on my monitor. I peer backwards like that. That's what I'm doing. Sneaking a peek, trying to get a little closer look. Only heads, yeah. You know, nothing. Not very surprised by anything anymore, so it might exist. There might be a thing, and I probably don't want to go looking for it to find out. I would most certainly be traumatized by whatever I found. looks like. And all right, let's at least, we can at least imply her hand over here. Goes off the page. All right, so what are we gonna use here? I do have this really ridiculous set of chroma watercolors. Got these at some little gifty shop, and they're kind of fun to play around with, but the only downside is you can't really get a dark tone out of them, and there's some really strong darks here. So maybe, what do we want? What do we want? Oh, all of the art supplies should drop on the ground. Chalk pastels is not the thing. Ugh. And that's why I bought a $20 used store used rug right here. Oh my god, my brain is just coming to pieces. All right, no, we're not going to do that. I thought about it for a second. I don't think I have any of the right colors or anything. I don't have enough to really mix. Oh, maybe. Oh, there's Mr. Watson. Maybe watercolor? I don't know. Could stick with the ink thing. Do some inking brushes, maybe. Spit in terribly. Let's give it a try. Okay. In which case, I'm gonna get a little dish here. Yeah, let's do the black acrylic ink. We'll try that. I haven't worked with this much recently. Let's see. There's much in here even. There it is. Okay. Usually when I work with ink, I would work with my, probably getting ink all over my face. I would normally be working with acrylic or watercolor brushes, but with acrylic ink, I would rather work with with any of my nice brushes for watercolor. I do have some acrylic brushes that might work all right for this. I do have a round, longer, not the right size maybe, although for doing some of the washes around the hair, bigger one. I'm not going to use anything really nice. I think this will wash fine as long as I take care of the brushes right away, but I'm not going to use anything fancy as far as brushes go. Oh no, here comes the Watson monster. Hey you. Oh, you're changing the pictures? That's good. You need to see that one, you know. Come on, let's go. We gotta turn it back. I'll find it. Oh, he turned the thing to play. It's a slideshow. See, I have such a good little studio assistant helping me out like that. Where are we? There we are. Pause. Okay. Just can't let him walk across the ink. That's like a very, very important thing. No walking across the ink. Oh, look, I just put my hand in the ink. All right, anyway. Here we go. Ooh, look how black that is. That's one of the nice things about the acrylic ink is very, very black. Especially on this paper. This paper is very nice for this acrylic ink, or ink, because it's so smooth. There's no real tooth to it, so it just glides. That's very, very satisfying. pull that up a little bit. Watson, you need to stay away from the ink bowl, please, sister. All right. And this is the ink, as I mentioned before, that doesn't, like, once it's down and dried, there is no moving it. So a little bit mindful of that. Mindful of where my cat thinks he's walking all over my desk here. Oops, sorry. That was me hitting the microphone with my brush, as I do. There's nowhere for you to walk there. What are you doing? He's helping. That's what he's doing. He's helping. Mister? Cats and art. They make a decent subject sometimes, but they sure don't make it easy to paint. There's quite a few places while I'm doing not the face, but around the face, where I can just sort of fill, because there's just so much intense black. So we're just going to kind of start with that. Set our darks immediately. There we go. Maybe. All right. I think this is probably a good place for me to grab my smaller brush. Not much smaller, but round brush instead of that was a filbert that I was just using. And just start building these darks out. We're going to go for a pretty monochromatic piece, I think, here. Might add a little red at the end. For the cheeks and the lips, perhaps. You might suddenly disappear because your art stuff is you're awesome. I do not blame you. Priorities, man. You get new art supplies. That is for sure priorities. Okay, smudgy down in there. You gotta kind of work fast with this because it dries fast. So getting my shadows and shades, my shades of gray where I want them to be, definitely requires moving kind of quickly. And also smashing my brush into the microphone, but of course, as you can tell. Ah. Trying to make these smoother shapes. I'm laying down the ink, like smoother transitions of shade and shadow. It's definitely trickier. Doesn't love it. Seems to work a little bit better if I have the paper a little wet where I want it to go first. So that's what I probably need to be doing here. Well, I hadn't expected that it would be a inking night, but it's kind of love it. I haven't done this sort of thing in a very long time. Oh, sorry, I keep hitting the thing. Ah. Microphone is no match for my brush. Oh, thank you. It's happening fast, so it's like not thinking through decisions too much, which is kind of a fun way to do things once in a while. At least it forces you to give up some control. Try to be a little bit deliberate, but also, you know, what happens, it's gonna kind of just be what happens at the same time. Hi, Watson. There's my monster cat. He's back again. Oh my gosh, it's like making the most tragic cat sounds right now. I swear he's never been fed. Never in his life. That's what he's saying right now. Short memory, that one. No, baby. He's worried that I'm going to forget that it's close to his supper time. I know. I haven't forgotten. You're going to be all right. We're getting there, love. I know, baby. Okay. Let's get a little wet before I lay down, because this is just light bits of shading. Oh, not so light. It's as light as I maybe intended. It's okay. Mister, you cannot come on the ink. I'm sorry. Be good. You can do it. I know it's a tall order. It's working out pretty well, I think, for a kind of quick one. All right. More about here, just slightly. The scent of alcohol burgers is bigger than your dog. Wow. Your 6B charcoal pencil is already, oh no, already done in. Yeah, the sticks might last a while. Yeah, that's too, I'm sorry for that. Certainly, however heavy your application is, but I don't know. They can go fast. That's a good thing, though. I mean, you've used it. It did not go wanting. It did not go to waste. It's gone because you used it up, and that's kind of great. Okay, am I missing anything? Yes, a little bit. Alright, I'm just about there. This guy, this lady. It always is that I feel the need to put my hands in what I'm working in. I don't know that I can entirely explain that compulsion, but it seems to be a real thing. Oh, sure. I'm actually going to be wrapping it up here soon. It's been 2 hours, and I about got this lady done anyway. So, thanks for stopping in, Jim. Good to see you here. Thank you for joining. And bit of a light shading for body. Leave it. Oops. I keep doing that. I apologize, guys. I hope that's not crazy loud when I pump the mic with my brush. It's terrible. Now do it again. Apparently it's my goal in life to knock out everybody's eardrums, and I'm sorry for that. Let's run back on then, and she's good. That for a fast sketch. Just a little bit of a wash. These hair highlights. Not completely white. It should not be white. There we have it. I'm out. Also out. I'll catch you next time. Have an awesome day, everyone. Yes, and enjoy your art supplies. Have an awesome time with that. And with this piece being basically done in the sketchbook too, more or less, I think that this is a really good time to call it a night. I can't believe we've been at it for 2 hours, but filled up a few pages. Just see if I can put this excess ink back in my bobble. Probably not. But cover it with plastic. That's what we're gonna do. Use my brain. Okay. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. This was awesome. This was fun. We'll do some more of these too and see if anyone wants to sketch along with some weirdo pictures that I can find and pull up. So have an awesome night. One error set, Jim, Mary, Beth, everybody that's joined. Love you all and have a great night. I'll see you on Thursday morning. Bye.